This is the afternoon weather briefing. This is for Tuesday, the 4th of March. I'm James Spann. It is a very windy afternoon, as advertised. Have a line of storms approaching from the west that'll be racing through the state tonight. So we'll focus on the short term and also talk about the long term. But let's go right to the radar. This is going to be the Jackson, Mississippi National Weather Service radar. And you can see that line of severe storms coming right through the Jackson, Mississippi metro as we speak. We're live here at 2:45 this afternoon. And there are severe thunderstorm warnings for those in advance of the line. And we note no tornado warnings in effect. In fact, we'll look on down to the south, and no, we have no tornado warnings at all. And the main concern with this line, it's just going to be a lot of wind. And obviously, we have the gradient winds now. And when the convective line passes through tonight, and again, this will be racing through Alabama this evening, it could produce winds of maybe enough velocity to knock down trees and power lines. In fact, we've had some scattered tree and power line damage this afternoon simply from the gradient winds. But that line of severe storms will likely be knocking on the door in West Alabama about 5 o'clock this afternoon. And again, that's going to come on very, very quickly through the state tonight. So here's the upper air look. And again, we obviously have the very deep trough with very strong wind fields, which is the dynamic forcing involved here. There's the visible satellite view. And across Alabama, we have a mix of sun and clouds. And of course, those more thicker convective clouds are back off to the west over Mississippi. And here's a look at the radar composite. And you can see just a lot of rain in West Tennessee and North Mississippi. There's no instability, no chance of any severe storms. The convection begins to increase a little north of Jackson and then curving down toward Baton Rouge along Interstate 55. And again, for the northern part of Alabama tonight, there's just no instability involved here, but no doubt it's going to be windy. We all know that. It's windy now because of the gradient winds. And we have indeed warmed up nicely today. Everybody in the 70s. Birmingham at 74, Montgomery 76, Dothan 75. So all counties, all 67 Alabama counties under a wind advisory for tonight into tomorrow morning. The wind should diminish a little bit once the line passes, but conditions stay breezy tonight into tomorrow morning. And off to the west, the counties in yellow in Mississippi, that's a tornado watch. And again, we'll see if that's extended into Alabama. It probably will be. I would suggest the better chance of any tornado activity across the southwestern counties of the state. But no doubt we could see some strong straight-line winds through parts of North Alabama. And look at this. Those wind advisories cover almost all of the southern and central United States. We have a blizzard warning in effect from northeastern Kansas through parts of Iowa and Minnesota, the counties in red on that map. And again, that's a pretty wild-looking map. It's a classic March deep mid-latitude cyclone. So here's a look at the severe weather outlook for the rest of today and tonight. We have the enhanced risk, which is level 3 out of 5 for South Alabama. The area is in orange on this map. And for most of the rest of the state, it's a level 2 out of 5 slight risk. And again, that's for the convective line coming through here this evening. This is the probabilistic outlook for tornadoes. And again, like we've talked about, if we have an isolated tornado or two this evening, the better chance of that is going to be in southwest Alabama. Mobile, Baldwin counties, Escambia, Washington, Clark, Monroe, maybe up to Choctaw County. The counties in yellow on this map. And again, for the rest of the state, the chance of a tornado is very low. Not zero, but very low. This is the chance of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given point. And again, the numbers are fairly high for South Alabama. As that line surges through, we could see enough wind to knock down trees and power lines there. The probabilities are lower across the northern half of the state where the air is more stable. And then tomorrow, risk of severe storms on the Atlantic coast, including a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk over eastern North and South Carolina and extreme southeastern Virginia. And on day 3, which is Thursday, maybe some thunder out west, but nothing severe. So here's rain for the next 7 days. I think with the event tonight, rain amounts will be about a ½ inch. That's it. This is a very fast-moving line. And then we'll have another system coming in this weekend with a chance of more rain over the next 7 days between now and Tuesday morning of next week, amounts of maybe a little over 1 inch for much of the state. So let's go right to the high-resolution HER model. This is valid this evening at 7 o'clock. And I will say the HER might be a little behind the times here. I think the line could be deeper into Alabama at 7 o'clock. You can see just kind of a massive rain over North Alabama with the main convective line approaching the state line at 7 o'clock. And again, for North Alabama, I just don't expect a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings in the classic sense. The problem, it's the gradient wind. But for South Alabama, yes, that line will be packing a punch, and there might be a few isolated tornadoes. But this is the limiting factor here. There's just no surface-based instability over the northern half of the state, none. And that will really limit the chance of this line producing tornadoes or major problems for the northern half of the state. But there is some surface-based instability down across southwest Alabama. And accordingly, the STP, this is the significant tornado parameter, a composite index, and you can see the numbers are meaningful over southwest Alabama. And that's why we're saying the better chance of a tornado this evening down there. Mobile, Baldwin, Washington, Clark, Escambia, maybe Conecuh, Monroe counties. So if you're in that part of the state, be aware that there could be a couple of isolated tornadoes. For the rest of the state, the chance of a tornado is very low. But obviously, the wind is the big deal. We've talked about this for days and days. That's going to be the big deal here. This is gradient wind coming off the herd this evening. And again, I want to stress what you're seeing here, this is the projected wind gust, not at the surface, but at 10 meters. That's about 33 feet off the ground. The surface wind gust will not be that high. But still, that's pretty robust. We could see winds gusting to 45 miles per hour. In fact, looking at the observations now, we've got winds that are gusting to, 33 in Birmingham. Montgomery has had a peak gust of 44. They've almost hit that 45 marker we've talked about. In Huntsville, the peak wind gust is 36. And again, we could see winds gusting to 45 tonight. And I guess maybe on a ridge top, there could be a gust of 50, but it's not going to be this windy. This map is being shared all over social media. Yes, very windy tonight, but not quite that windy. And then by midnight tonight, that line is moving through places like Phoenix City, approaching Dothan, Enterprise, down in southeast Alabama. I mean, it is moving quick. So the bottom line is the line enters really West Alabama about 5 or 6 o'clock, and it exits the southeast corner of the state soon after midnight. And again, for most everybody, again, we stress the main concern will be the wind. But again, there could be an isolated tornado or two within the line across southwest Alabama tonight. So just as always, be weather aware. So this is tomorrow going to the GFS, the 12Z run, 3 o'clock. There's your deep, deep trough. And, of course, the main line of storms far, far to the east, obviously, but there's going to be wraparound moisture coming around that deep cyclone that's centered near Chicago. And we do know, just for the fun of it here, this is the high-resolution HRRR valid tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Hey, the blue you see there, that would be a few snowflakes. Now, temperatures are going to be well above the freezing mark. This is because of cold air aloft, dynamic cooling. And with surface temperatures above freezing, this creates no impact, but it will be certainly a curiosity, if nothing else, if this happens. So again, the HRRR suggesting there might be a few snowflakes over the eastern half of the Tennessee Valley tomorrow evening. How about that? And then a chance of a few showers as far south as Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Ashland, Roanoke, the green you see on that map. So kind of a blustery day tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with a few scattered afternoon and evening showers, and maybe a snowflake over parts of the Tennessee Valley tomorrow evening. So Thursday, we're going to be pretty close to the freezing mark early Thursday over the northern half of the state. The high Thursday will be in the 50s for North Alabama. This is Friday. The day will be sunny, the high back in the 60s. South Alabama may be seeing low 70s. And the next question mark involves the weekend. So this is Saturday. And the global model's trending a little slower here, suggesting we might get in much of the day Saturday with no rain. And the high Saturday would be in the 60s statewide. Clouds will increase. And then we will have that rain moving in here Saturday night. This is after midnight Saturday night. And again, the good news, at one point the GFS depicted a deep surface low over Tennessee and maybe some strong storms. That idea is off the table. It just looks like good old-fashioned rain. And then by Sunday afternoon, the bulk of the rain is out of here. So at the moment, it looks like the better chance of rain over the weekend could be Saturday night into Sunday morning. Nothing severe. Highs over the weekend will be in the 60s. Monday, we are dry in the 60s. And a week from today, Tuesday, March 11th, new trough in the west, but we are still dry. Let's go out 10 days. This is Friday of next week, March the 14th. Big trough in the western states. But we're still dry. We'll watch what happens on the lee of the Rockies there. But looks like next week could be relatively quiet. We've seen hints of a few showers at midweek, Wednesday night or Thursday. But again, nothing major at this point for next week. This is rain for Birmingham coming off the European Ensemble. The mean, it's up there between 2 and 3 inches between now and the 19th of March. Temperatures coming off the NBM, National Blend of Models. 50s tomorrow and Thursday, kind of windy tomorrow, blustery, maybe a few afternoon showers, and again, maybe a snowflake over the Tennessee Valley tomorrow evening. Back in the 60s on Friday and Saturday, then in the 70s for much of next week. And just in the latest long-range guidance, 8 to 14 days out, this is for March 12th through March 18th. Temperatures above average if this works out. Hey, real quick before we check the radar again, got to get a couple of shout-outs here. The Children's of Alabama Kid Cam Tour back on the road today. 2 stops today. Stop number 1, University Place Elementary in Tuscaloosa. The kindergarten students, they love to talk about weather, and we love this cake. They respect that polygon at University Place. Got the Alabama State bird on there, but they were so good today. Talked about how storms are good. They're a vital part of the water cycle. You don't have to be afraid of weather, but you need to understand tornadoes. And they were great listeners and great learners today. So again, to all of these students at University Place Elementary in Tuscaloosa, thanks a lot for a great visit today. Then stop number 2, Montevallo Elementary School, home of the Bulldogs. In Shelby County, had the first graders in the lunchroom. And, man, they were great today, and they loved to talk about the weather and learn about the weather. Had a great time. We did some storm spotting for them. We need more storm spotters. Talked about weather instruments, how we forecast the weather, and much more. Great school, great crowd, great teachers there. So, again, thanks to all these great students at both Montevallo Elementary and University Place Elementary for great visits earlier today. All right, so let's check the radar. And again, we have no tornado warnings. We're live at 2:57. The line of storms coming through Jackson. And again, as you go farther north up Interstate 55, the air is stable. There's hardly any thunder. And again, there's just nothing severe in terms of convection. But again, warnings in effect from the Jackson Metro south down toward Brookhaven, Macomb, right down Interstate 55. And again, this is your classic springtime QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. It's a line of storms. And could there be an isolated tornado in there over southwest Alabama tonight? Yes. But again, the main concern will be strong straight-line winds with this line of convection coming through the state this evening. And again, obviously for everybody, in addition to that, the other big story, it's the gradient winds because of the pressure difference, not related to storms. And again, as we look at the numbers here, we've got winds gusting to 44 at Montgomery. We've got winds gusting to 33 in Birmingham. In Huntsville, the peak wind gust is 36. Tuscaloosa, 39. Anniston, 30, which is right where we expected them to be. And we're going to see these type winds hanging in there really through tonight. They'll come down a little bit once the line passes here. But as always, just be weather aware. We'll get through the evening just fine. So great time today. Let's see, tomorrow going to be at Children's of Alabama in Birmingham, a program for the patients and their families there. Thursday, we are going to be in Decatur, Banks Cadell Elementary School, and then Hoover at South Shades Crest. Friday, Green Valley Elementary in Hoover, and then the Trinity Child Development Center in Homewood. And it's a book signing Saturday in Hamilton, Marion County. We're going to be at Bevel State from 9:30 until 11:30. This is part of their big Outdoor and Garden Expo. So Bevel State in Hamilton, 9:30 until 11:30 Saturday morning. And if you've never been to one of these, we have a lot of fun. We take a lot of pictures. We got all the cool books, the children's books, T-shirts. It's good stuff. And I will be speaking at noon, by the way, at that event, doing a little miniature storm spotting class and doing some safety stuff. So hope to see many of you in Hamilton on Saturday. And, of course, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.